Damn it! Why did he sacrifice himself? If he had just waited! With Truth here, it's time for another episode of Otaku Evolution. Today we'll be looking at an anime comedy, the 2004 series Ninja Nonsense. Anime comedies. I don't usually review them. Why? Well, for one, most of them aren't funny. I mean, maybe they're funnier than me, but I'm about as funny as a suicide note written in crayon, so that's hardly an accomplishment. I mean that aside from most of them not being to my comedic tastes, they're often completely out of the context of the Western comedic mindset altogether, often relying on Japanese wordplay or arcane Japanese mythology and or in-jokes foreigners wouldn't understand or find amusing. So what do a lot of dub studios tend to do with anime comedies? Well, that brings us to another reason I don't cover many. Because often anime comedies will be heavily rewritten for Western audiences. Sometimes basically from scratch, shoving in all sorts of references to things mostly Western audiences would identify with. Now, you might be thinking if my problem with anime comedies is that they're too Japanese, why am I complaining about them rewriting them so they aren't? Well, if they have to rewrite them altogether, then there's really no reason for them to license them to begin with. Look, I loved Shin-chan. For a little while, but the same edgy, irregular vagina jokes grew tiresome after a while. I feel the same way about shows like Ghost Stories, where it was completely a parody dub. Everyone always lavishes attention on that dub because, LOL, references to sex and abortion. But honestly, I couldn't sit through more than a few episodes of that before it grew tiresome. Even comedic anime I do enjoy are better in small doses. I couldn't imagine sitting through all of Excel Saga in a short period of time like I used to. Tenchi Muyo's comedy doesn't always hold up either, which is why it's good that there's more than comedy in it. Furikuri is much more than just the comedy, which is why it endures. I reviewed Arcade Gamer Fubuki last year, but that remained endearing because it knew when to close the curtain to avoid getting stale. Ninja Nonsense, on the other hand? Well, I like most of Ninja Nonsense, just not all at once. Because it does not know when the joke is old. It lingers like a fart that was funny when it was ripped, but just stales the air after a while. I suspect that's how some see my videos. No, wait, somebody would have to actually watch them. Ninja Nonsense is a 12-episode television series based on a 4-volume manga by Ryuichi Koga. It's ostensibly about a ninja in training named Shinobu, who while on a mission from her master, meets ordinary schoolgirl Kaede, who's cramming for her exams. Kaede is disturbed that said mission involves Shinobu snatching panties from girls all around town for her perverted teacher, but otherwise is pretty friendly, if a bit exasperated, by the plucky pink-garbed novice ninja. Things get even weirder when Kaede meets Shinobu's partner, and secret to her, her mentor, Ansakamaru, who is, what is he?
A hawk. Huh? Ansakamaru? For as long as I can remember, Headmaster is always referred to as a hawk. If you're not a hawk, then what are you?
Oh, silly girl, how can you doubt? Of course I'm a hawk.
I knew it!
Ansakamaru is, besides being some freakish ball thingy that looks like he's related to Koro-sensei from Assassination Classroom, an incorrigible lech and a boundlessly incompetent goof-off. And yet he trains and oversees a group of identical-looking ninjas, as well as Shinobu, who takes his behavior with good humor and patience. And a little bit of just plain not understanding what's going on. After meeting Kaede, Shinobu gets a regular clue in that her situation is not at all normal, but she takes it all in stride. She's a fun, energetic character who doesn't let things get her down for too long, and often gets one over on the yellow ball whether she realizes it or not. Helping with that is her sister Miyabi. Aunt Sakamaru is consistently humiliated by the younger girl. And basically that's about it. Most of the show is just Aunt Sakamaru goofing off and hatching wacky schemes that everyone else reacts to. Really, the show revolves much more around him most of the time, rather than Shinobu or Kaede.
I'll show you a flip book of a person shitting in reverse!
Ew, that's so gross! I give up!
See? Look how it's sucking it back in!
Oh, and do you recognize the voice of the yellow ball man? Because I did right away.
Allied to good! Nightmare to you!
That's right, it's the longest running English dub voice for Goku from DBZ, Sean Schimmel. Hooray! Okay, I'm not going to gripe too much on this. One, because I review dubs during mid-year and end-of-year dub review episodes. And two, because not only has Schimmel improved so dramatically as a voice actor, but in this role, he's actually pretty good. Schimmel seems to understand comedic timing pretty well, making this by far my favorite of his roles in anime. Although, the Japanese voice of Aunt Sakamaru is Norio Wakamoto, so yeah, come on. Nobody can compete with that. Huh. Cell and Goku played this character. Weird. But just because Aunt Sakamaru eats up the lion's share of the spotlight, what a mixed metaphor, doesn't mean there's nothing for Shinobu and Kaede. Well, okay, there's not much, to be honest, because they're sort of the straight men, Shinobu somewhat less. Except they aren't men, and, well, maybe not so straight.
Would you like to take a bath? Shinobu, do you think we should wash each other's baths? A bath! A bath! Will she hate me if I say I want to take one together?
While it's probably just one-sided most of the time, the two girls' friendship gets awfully cozy to the obvious point of infatuation on Shinobu's part. Seems like our raven-haired student ninja hero is not so secretly holding some more than friendly feelings for her new gal pal. It's usually played for laughs, but not in a way that demeans the feelings in and of themselves. Kaede, for her part, seems fairly oblivious until the Christmas episode.
Shinobu, do you have someone that you love? Huh? Well... Tell me, Shinobu! Come on, tell me! Oh.
Come to my window. Come on inside. Wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window. I'll be home soon.
But just because Shinobu has eyes for another doesn't mean her pervy proctor has been completely unsuccessful with the ladies. At one point, he even, combined shadows with a lovely Lady Shinobi. Well, she's lovely when she isn't monster-facing at the incompetent ninjas. The first few episodes see a lot of different scenarios, from a backyard safari that ends about how you would expect it would, to a fight in a diner, to a wild baseball game, and the obligatory hot springs outing. And just when you think they've run out of ideas, well, they basically do, and the show begins to descend into just plain old, incomprehensible absurdity. Less ninja, more nonsense. Yeah, the show kind of goes downhill. The problem? Even the randomness gets predictable and unfunny. really, really unfunny. Like Chuck Lorre unfunny, Friedberg and Seltzer unfunny, Tim and Eric unfunny, and I should know unfunny. I'm about as funny as a child-sized coffin, a previously used one, with scratch marks on the inside. I'm almost as bad as this.
Crap! Is that the time? It's already 8 o'clock?
You guys are gonna be late for class!
That means it's time to ditch the porn and wake up! Plug it in once more. I don't want that sailor suit. Doesn't fit.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say. No idea what you're talking about.
Despite the downturn in quality, it does occasionally regain its footing in the funny department, such as Shinobu's disastrous foray into horticulture. Or the aforementioned Christmas episode where Ansakamaru finds himself locked out of the gift exchange activities. And the finale is pretty good too, the ninjas arguing over what would be the most appropriate conclusion to the show.
Sakamaru! I mustn't cry anymore. I have to keep smiling. Just for now. Just for now. Can I cry a little bit? Can I, Sakamaru? Can I?
Yes, of course you can!
It's so touching and sexy!
This is the best last episode ever!
Hey, what's shaking, baby?
It turns out that little animal on Sakamaru wasn't the real me. I'm the real Sakamaru, a magical princess fan who's been traveling around the world for 3 months looking for a magical princess to marry. So how much money have you got, huh, baby?
Oh, this sucks!
It's ruined!
However, I feel like even when they're trying something new, they're too smugly comfortable with making the same basic jokes, and after a while the humor loses its luster. You find yourself looking at the time a lot, wondering if they're going anywhere with this because the journey is like the most brutal ninja training. And what am I supposed to say? There's only so much you can say about a comedy that loses its wheels. When I watched Arcade Gamer Fubuki last year, I realized that a stupid, silly premise can work just fine if it doesn't overstay its welcome. A gimmicky setup like Ninja in Training gets into wacky hijinks is in constant danger of collapsing under its own weight, and you could tell after a while they were desperate to keep it going. I'm glad this wasn't any more than 12 episodes, but maybe it should have been even just half of that. That said, when it works pretty well, so it isn't a total wash. The Right Stuff is re-releasing this on Blu-ray, and it might be worth checking out, but I'd advise you to preview it on Crunchyroll first. Next time on Otaku Evolution, we'll take a look at one of my anime favorites, directed by one of the best new directors in the medium, with a review of Michigo and Hachin. Until then, see ya!
Looks like our chance to play a cute prank on her.
Huh?
I'll just apply some glue and paste a picture of two guys intertwined in a passionate embrace on the back of her mouse. First, she'll be surprised to find the mouse won't work. Then, she'll be even more surprised when she flips it over and sees what's on the bottom. This is called the art of the president and his advisor being caught in the act technique.
Well, that's that for this episode. I'll get editing tomorrow. Thanks for filming this one, Pen Pen. I told you he needed some personal time. Big baby. Got all worked up last time because I mentioned the first class incident. I also may have mentioned the lady he likes is banging a deranged assassin. By the way, don't you think we should have a long talk about the fact that Prince What's-His-Name knew that you were a tulpa? I just think that... Ouch! Motherfuck... Can't imagine why DDD and Nisette rebelled.